Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is David. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. What I need to do in this video is to kind of give you a little history of what I'm about to show you, and that is the setup and the configuration of the accelerometer that we used to drive the RV with the old and the new hitch. So let's jump to this video and I'll show you what that is all about. So I got this little accelerometer and it's pretty cool. The software is really clunky, and it took me a few days just to kind of figure out even how to orient this thing properly in order to do this this test. So what I have to do, because this model doesn't have a SIM card, which the other models do, and the manufacturer got back with me and told me that the other model that has the SIM card, you can take it out and put it in your computer and read it. But with this model, what I have to do is hook it to the laptop, do my recordings, and then I can review the data from there. So what I'm going to do is simply plug this in like so, and I've already checked it out, and I know that it needs to be oriented this direction. So this is up, down, left, and right. And I'll show you what that looks like in the software here. Okay, so now that we've loaded the software and I have the device plugged in and turned on, I've got this calibrated so that I know that in this direction, this is up and this is down. This is left and this is right. The Z angle, as you can see here, is way off. It can be recalibrated. It doesn't really matter. It's just kind of the orientation, like for north. So it doesn't really matter for what we're trying to do. What we're looking for is all the movement like this as it rides inside the RV. So that's what I'll be recording. Again, I'm not really worried about the Z angle. So what I'm going to do is just simply peel off this tape. This tape is amazing. It was shared with me by a buddy of mine. They use it to hang their pictures and stuff like that. It does stick well, but it's not so much that you can't get it back up off the ground or off the walls. You just kind of have to kind of roll it off. All right, so we're going to put this like this, and there we go. And now we're going to take the laptop and we're going to put it in the bedroom, which is the closest I can get to being over the kingpin. So once we get that in there, we'll get moving. Okay, so I'm just simply going to adhere this to the floor a little bit. I'm not going to really push it hard, but as you can see, it's as far forward as I can put it. And then we're going to start the recording. Yep, we'll just start the recording and we'll take a spin. So now you can see how the accelerometer works and how I set it up into the front of the RV as far forward as I could in order to record the motions. Now, one thing that I kind of pointed out in the video clip is that, you know, the intent was not to get too technical.
Don't get technical with me.
Even though I pointed out the Z-axis wasn't very important, it actually played a role in getting the pieces oriented to where I was on the interstate. So let's go ahead and jump to the next video. This would be us towing with the Blue Ox hitch. On our last episode, I showed you the new Hensley BD3 hitch and how I removed the existing one, along with some pros and cons of the Blue Ox Super Ride hitch. In this episode, we are going to rewind a bit and take the RV for a ride using the Blue Ox hitch and record the movements using an accelerometer. So if you are interested in these videos, Tina, Denver, Annie, and I would love to have you come along. And if you really like these videos, Denver and Annie would really appreciate you clicking on that like button, subscribe, and ring that little bell. All right, so we're loaded up. But the pup's taking a nap for the moment. Let's take her for a spin. We just went over the tracks. near Highway 62, getting onto Highway 62. And we will always maintain, I won't go any faster than 60 miles an hour. So no matter what the speed limit is, I'm going to top it off at 60. But Highway 62, where we are at the moment, it's only 55. So we'll keep it at that. Now this part of the road is very smooth. We have some train tracks coming up that are actually pretty good. But I want to note that so that I can keep track of what's going on in the truck and what's happening behind us in the rig when it's recording. We have possibly two huge, almost launching ramps on the interstate. If I can get that far without any traffic, I will. Otherwise, we're just going to do the one, so out and back. Okay, so we're coming up on the train tracks. There we go. There's the train tracks. Okay, now that we've driven the back roads to get to the highway, I'm getting ready to get onto Interstate 265 in southern Indiana. And this is not too far from the what we call the East End Bridge. I think it's named the Lincoln Memorial Bridge. Anyway, I'm heading 265 west, and I know we have one upcoming pretty big bump. I think that's going to be our benchmark. And as long as construction traffic isn't prevalent, we'll do the second one and swing back around and grab that same bump on the way back. The next time we do the video, or the next time we do or the ride with the new hitch, Tina will be with us. Okay, here comes the first bump at 55 miles an hour. So here we go. There's the first one. And what these bumps are, they're over an overpass. And here comes the second one. So there's that one. And we'll see what traffic's looking like here in just a few moments. So hang tight. So I think what we'll do, looks like traffic's good, so we're gonna move on. So we're coming up on sections of the highway they've been working on, actually smoothing it out a little bit. So still a little bumpy, but not nearly as it has been. And then that will be the biggest of the ejection ramps. That's kind of what I've been calling them. They seem to want to almost throw you out of your seat. They're so bad. Now I keep it under the speed limit because it's so bad, for the rig's sake and for my comfort. And I'm coming up on the overpass for 65. Yeah, here comes the one of the bad ramps here, which they somewhat have smoothed out over time. I know going eastbound, it's a lot worse. And I'm at 55 miles an hour, slowing down for some traffic. So we're gonna go down a ways, we're gonna spin around and head back, and then we're gonna swap that hitch out and make the same route, and then we're gonna do a comparison on the recordings and see how much smoother, if any, that the Trailer Saver BD3 is. I suspect it will be because it is an air ride hitch, and we'll share it with you guys. All right, so we'll catch up here in a moment. Okay, we're heading back, and I am now eastbound on 265, and I'm about to approach the Interstate 65 overpass. These are the ones that I always recognize as being the worst. So we'll hit both eastbound and westbound on this. That was not it, although that was pretty rough. All right, here comes the first one. Well, the ramp that has the up and the down side that are pretty rough. Here we go. 60 miles an hour. Gosh. And the downside of it right there. Wow. Come on, Indiana. You gotta fix these bridge joints or something, man. Wow. These things are rough. Also keep in mind that we already installed the Moride independent suspension, and that helped. But it still doesn't take all the bounce out of the kingpin area where it hitches into the truck. So we're hoping that the BD3, the Hensley Trailer Saver BD3, will kind of finish off as much of the chucking and bucking and all the other stuff that come along with fifth wheel towing. So I'm going to concentrate back on the road, get back home on hitch, and then we're going to swap this hitch out and take it for another spin.